Hello, my name is Rick, and to everyone who's viewing this video, I would like to say I'm totally disgusted with, ever since last year, I've been reading in the news almost daily about some kind of crime, especially hideous crimes. Going into elementary schools, blowing away children who have not even begun their life yet. Now we've got kidnappings, and we've got rapes, and almost every month you're going to see mass shootings, some murders, suicides, so on and so forth. And it's sounding like our culture is becoming a little bit insane. Well, we can blame it on a lot of different things. A lot of people want to blame it on Obama. A lot of people want to blame it on gun control or the lack of gun control. A lot of people want to blame it on the economy. A lot of people want to blame it on just about anything they can. Some people want to blame it just on the drug cartel. Well, you know, I'm beginning to wonder if we're just trying to blame things on something that may not even be the problem at all. Let me read you a little bit of statistics here. According to the FBI reports, there's a murder every 30 minutes. And it also says 1/2 of those murders are not reported. Well, now I always wonder about that term, not reported. Well, if they're not reported, how do they know they happened? Well, I guess with a case of murder, they find somebody dead in an alley somewhere, and they say, oh, guess what? That wasn't reported. But anyway, moving on. We have had, within a 30-year time span, according to the statistics I've read, 171 serial killers in the United States. I haven't been able to find that in any other country. That breaks down to approximately 6 serial killers per year. Actually, that's kind of high. Just in the year 2000, we've had 30 mass shootings, such as people going in, just blowing people away, including the Virginia incident. A lot of times it's happening in schools. Well, one thing is, in the period of time between the 60s and the 70s, we had violent crime that was averaging out approximately 288,460 per year. Alright, now moving on up until 2011, we've got 1,233,564. That's quite a hike. Well, if you remember back in the 60s and through the 70s, you know, we had a very large drug movement back then. Remember the hippies? They were dropping acid and taking LSD and going on hallucinatory trip. Hallucinating. How about that? Hallucinating. And everybody was smoking pot. You probably won't be able to find a baby boomer today that hadn't at least tried pot. You know, but yeah, of course we want to blame it on the drugs, you know, and of course police love to give out DUIs, and drugs are illegal, but you know, alcohol's not. But regardless, I remember a few years ago though, in the state of Alabama, there was a plaque in front of the courthouse, and it was ordered to be removed by the federal court simply because it had the Ten Commandments on it. Well, a couple of things in the Ten Commandments, just very simple things like thou shalt not kill or thou shalt not steal. What's so wrong with that? You know, what? I don't care if it's religiously inspired or not. What is wrong with that? I don't care what religion came up with it. Well, yeah, it was a Christian religion, but, you know, if the Buddhists come up with it, that's fine too. But thou shalt not kill, that's, you know, there's nothing wrong with saying that. But yet we had to have it removed from the courthouse. Well, you know, there was some other studies done. There was a place back in the 60s, it was called Chinatown. And it had one of the highest poverty rates in the United States, but yet it had the lowest crime also. One of the things that sociologists and psychologists went in and they did a little study of why did they have such a low crime rate and yet had such a high poverty rate. Well, one of the reasons that they did find is they had a very close family unit. The family was allowed to discipline their children, or family did discipline their children, I should say. And in addition to that, the family was very close and they did show a lot of love and respect for one another. That doesn't mean just telling a child that you love them, but that means, you know, to share some interest with them, talk to them. Don't be yelling and screaming at them all the time. That's one of the things that they did find out. And they also found out that they worked together as a team. They work hard together as a team. As a matter of fact, a lot of the Asians do that today in their manufacturing. You know, they work together as a team. They don't they don't try to fire somebody, you know, because in a lot of our major corporations we become so egotistical. We love those titles, and when we love those titles, you know, then we like to boss people around and find somebody we can fire because we're on a big power trip now, especially if you never had any authority in your life before. Now you become a supervisor or a boss, you know, now you really want to get the authority and fire somebody and flex your muscles a little bit. But at the same time, a lot of your corporations really don't care about the people. They don't care about their employees, and they don't even care about their customers. As long as they're making money, they don't care. Some of your most successful, though, companies do care about their employees and do care about their customer service to their customers, and they have become more successful. So as a society, we're going to have become a little bit more successful. Now, I mentioned about the Ten Commandments being removed before. Where do we get some of our morals from? Do we just grab them out of the air? Do they come just automatically? No, I think most of our morals do come from some kind of a religious basics. You have a lot of your ministers worried more about getting people into their congregation and saying what's right and what theology is right, and instead of actually, you know, working on some of the big important issues such as care, love, and respect. So I think that's where a lot of our problems are coming from, and I think that you know, other countries are now looking at us and saying, hey, you know, the United States seems to be pretty evil because they're having less crime than we are. Well, every country's got its problem, including Latin America, but, you know, they have petty thefts and things like that, but nothing heinous like we do. So I think we ought to get back on track and start thinking about quit being so egotistical. If it's your religion that's going to give you a moral background, then go for it. But let's quit being so egotistical and let's start caring about one another instead of just, I want this or I want that, you know, and quit getting off track. Because you know what? You know, a society cannot stand like that. Remember, one of the mottos of the United States is united we stand. Well, if we keep this up, we ain't going to stand. And some other country that's got nuclear weapons right now, we could have a real bad catastrophe. And yeah, some of the countries' leaders that want to flex their muscles with nuclear weapons and stuff like that, we could have a real bad catastrophe and wipe out half the world. You know, or at least the United States could be suffering even more immensely. You know, something's going to have to bring us together. I hope I gave you something to think about. Anyway, my name is Rick. Until next time, take care and have a good life. At least I hope you do.